we can divide God also, can be divided in this way. Key point here is that God's character has these different attributes. If we look into the creation, these attributes are manifested individually. So if God has these characteristics of internal, external, so must we. And for example, let's ask ourselves, okay, just for a minute here, let's think, okay, so if God has internal, external, okay, what is God's internal character? Can anybody tell me? What is God's internal character? What is the characteristics of God?
God's
loving, right? Kind, long-suffering, patient,
really smart,
all-powerful. Yeah. You know, we could say these are the internal characteristics of God. Pretty much people can understand those things because God is spirit. But what is the external manifestation of God? Can anybody tell me? What is the external manifestation of God? Because we can't touch God. What is the external manifestation of God? God's external manifestation is
creation.
Yes, including us. Okay, and at we can divide God's external manifestations into two parts. One part is matter. Okay, you know, I said, what is this made of? We said particles and stuff like this, but actually, this thing is made more deeply than particles. This thing is made up of energy. That's right. And it actually, you know, Einstein came up with this idea. How does it go? MC equals. No.
E equals MC squared.
So I used to know this when I was a kid, a long time ago. I thought of myself as kind of a brain, and I used to be persecuted by all the jocks and everything like that. So I thought I was so great because I actually remembered this, E equals MC squared. And when it would hassle me, I would say, do you know what E equals MC squared means? And they wouldn't know, and I felt somehow I'm superior to them. Of course, I didn't know what it meant either, you know, but at least I understand. This means everything is made out of energy. Everything, and that's why atomic power works. That's why fusion works. That's why, you know, if we could somehow liberate this thing here into its energy, component energy, we could probably power the whole county of San Diego for what, about a year maybe?
Easily.
Incredible amount of energy. God's character external form is characterized by energy. One energy that makes up matter, and the other energy is the energy that makes things happen. That God's creation didn't come here by accident, but that God's creation, of course, came because He wanted it to, and there was this energy pouring out into the universe that made everything happen. You talk about the Big Bang. You know, scientists say the Big Bang happened. Actually, the Big Bang was just the explosion of God's energy into creation. So then God's internal, external, you know, internal, God's love, heart, everything like the external form is energy. So in a sense, we actually are part of God, by the way. Our bodies actually are part of God. So we have right there an incredible connection with God that, you know, we can never really get rid of. But, you know, God's creation, you know, has a purpose, a reason. You know, God doesn't just sit there. Okay, look at that right there. I wrote God up there, right? Everybody see that? God. Okay? Now, you know, is there anything wrong with that picture? It's like, you know, okay, it's like you look up in the sky and you just see the moon up there.
God doesn't live in a circle.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's a very profound point. We'll get to that later on in the lecture. You know? Yeah, it's true. Okay, but you know, okay, we're abstractly speaking here, symbolically speaking. You know, this God up there is in isolation, just sitting there all by Himself, like looking up in the sky and just seeing the moon and no stars, just like you know, just a desert island in the middle of a sea with nothing there. You know, God, like this, God has no purpose, no reason to exist. What good is it to have a God if there's no creation, right? So God can't just be by there. So God exploded the energy into creation, which also, by the way, lives in a circle, Pastor Frank. just so you know, that God's energy exploded into creation, and now there's not one but two things. This is a very profound point, that nothing in the world, in existence, is there by itself. Something by itself has no purpose, because the value, purpose, meaning comes from relationships. And the greatest, most holy, most powerful God, in a sense, can't manifest his godness if there's nothing to manifest it to. So God, you know, just, and I say what's wrong with this picture is that if you say the word God, you imply a creation. No God, no creation. No creation, it can't be God. I don't know what it is, but it's not God. So, but we know, of course, God has a creation. So this is the God creation. Now, you know, God created creation, right? Creation did not create God. Isn't that true? Okay. I mean, there's some weird people that think that man made God. My son wears a t-shirt that says God is dead, you know, but actually, yeah, by Nietzsche. And then later on it says, you know, God says Nietzsche is dead. You know, God made a creation. So we have an interesting relationship here. Okay. One of these things here, we're going to call it the subject. Okay. This guy is the subject. Okay. The subject initiates. The subject starts things going. I have a lawnmower. It doesn't mow lawns by itself. Okay? If I want to mow a lawn, I got to go to the lawnmower, I got to put gas in it, I got to prime it, I got to pull the thing, and it starts running, and then I can mow lawns. I'm the subject. Okay? The lawnmower is the object. Okay? I have teenage children. Well, wait, forget that example. Okay. But I have God is the subject, and God initiated. God poured out his powerful energy. We call it universal prime force. Poured out this energy to kickstart the creation, just like I kick the mower when it won't start. Okay? And then it comes out to creation. So the creation is object. Okay? The subject initiates, powers, moves, and the object responds. And together they make a very beautiful relationship. The relationship of subject and object. You know, it's not like the subject's the boss. No. God's, and of course we must follow, we must obey God, but it's much more deeper, much more sophisticated than that. You know, even we can be this boss. You know, if I'm praying for somebody and God answers my prayer, then I've become, in a sense, I'm the initiator, you know? And God followed my idea, okay? So it's not completely sensed over. This is how it goes. So God, creation. If God has dual characteristics of masculine and feminine, then the creation also must have dual characteristics of masculine and feminine, as we understood. If God has internal, external, creation has internal, external, as we understood. Okay? Now, you know, interesting thing happens, or interesting thing can happen, okay, is that that, you know, in our creation, it's not a big amorphous blob, right? Now we can say God is one, but the creation is not one. Is it? It's not. I mean, I can see several unique individual human beings out here. None of them and we're not an amorphous group. We have characteristics, we have individuality. We are divided into different things, right? You know, the creation is made up of many, many, many different things. We call these things individual truth bodies. Individual truth bodies. Now what is that? Well, there's many bodies.